Hi, good morning. It's CreativeMornings Helsinki, and today our theme is shock and Tarahtaneet ammat, Nutty Tarts talking. Come on in!
I have my shock hat here, you see. Just a moment, there you go. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Yay! I think that's really lame. Good morning, everybody. Yay! Yes, thank you. I am Katriina Haikala, the other one of the Tarahtaneet ammat Nutty Tarts, and the other person who is involved in this craziness is Vilma Metteri, who is sitting here. She's a little bit fluish, so I will be doing the talking today. I hope you're fine with that. If you were expecting Vilma to talk, I'm sorry to disappoint you. How many of you have not ever heard about us? Great, wonderful. Because I was going to talk about just a little bit, like a few minutes about what we really do, so that you will get to know what we really do. Me and Vilma, we've been working together for the past almost 10 years. I guess it starts to be 10 years now. We met each other in University of Art and Design Helsinki. Even though I said that we were from Tampere, we've been living in Helsinki already for more than 15 years. But still, we are from Tampere. And we actually, when we met, we were both young mothers. We had small children, and we realized that our lives have so much in common. Like, we were thinking, oh, you know, this is so much shit. You know, I cannot do any of my own work because I have these crazy small people living in my house. I don't have any time of my own. And then we found together projects so that we could get out of the house. You know, do stuff together. We didn't have to be there and changing diapers and all that. Well, of course, we took care of our children too, but that was like in the beginning. That was one of the main points why we started to work together. You know, to get out of the house. But actually, what we also found out is that we share a common sense of humor. So we have been laughing a lot for the past 10 years, a lot, all the time, basically, about everything. And then we also realized that there's a lot of things that we would like to do, like in sense of making people aware of things. And we were thinking that because we were actually studying pedagogy at the moment when we met, and we realized that pedagogy and art has something in common, and that's the element of change. As you know, like raising up a person, like educating somebody, is like expecting that that person will change somehow, you know, from a point A into the point B, and there is some change in there in between. And art always has the same element, not always, but most of the time it also has the same element. Like there is a need to change something, the way that people perceive things or the way that people think about things. And then we started to combine these things. And then that's how our road trip actually started. We started to do things that we wanted to change how people think about things. And we started off by doing performances. And our first performance was at the School of Art and Design. We were young students, and we were very, very pissed off by the fact that there is going to be a change in the constitutional law about universities. And we made a performance where we started to give diplomas to our principals and to our deans, and then, you know, then we drilled a hole into the wall and all kinds of like small things, but which actually showed up to be pretty good and immense, like we drilled a hole in the wall, and that was a huge fuss around the one hole. And we realized that, oh, you know, okay, making holes in the walls is pretty provocative, you know, we wouldn't even think that it would be. But here we are, after 10 years, we've been doing all kinds of projects. And one thing that is, or actually a couple of things that are in common with the projects are that we're mostly working always with people. We do not work all of ourselves. Of course, we also sit in our office and in our studios and plan things. But when we start to do the projects, we always do that together with people. So we call it social art or community art. Is there somebody who is familiar with social art or community art? Very few. Social art and community art is art that is run by artists, projects that are run by artists, but it's always executed in collaboration with people who want to participate voluntarily, not as we will go and force people to collaborate with us. But mostly we tackle with the problems that the community has, and then we try to solve some problems and also make statements maybe. You know, if there is a community that has a problem with, let's say, with homelessness, and then we make an art project out of that, and we make a statement about the homelessness and try to solve the problem of the community. That's what social art is basically about. Also, our performances has been participatory. Not always, but sometimes when we do performances. And then we also work in the gray area of contemporary art and design. So in our works we always deal with, we work with several different kinds of mediums, forms of art. It's not that we only paint or draw or make photographs. There's always a lot of different elements from different art scenes. So sometimes we've been feeling that, okay, we are pretty lonely. We were talking here with Johannes that, you know, when you are not working in a certain category of art, you feel like you're always in middle of everything, and you feel like there is no really peer groups because you're always alone in the gray area of doing something strange. But that's what we do. Is there something that I forgot?
What? No, I don't think so.
Okay, great. Okay. If you're interested about to see our work more, please visit our website, which is Shaken Not Blurred, and you can also find us from Instagram from tag Tarahtaneet. And as Johannes already said here, that today we're going to talk about shock. And it was really funny because I also saw, when I saw the illustration, and there was this woman's head in the between there, that's being like this, like, this is perfect. Like, this is how our logo is too. Like the woman in the shock logo was the illustration was also, you know, shaken, not blurred, really. And I'm going to talk about it as a way for creating social impact in artistic work. Social impact is something that we actually work with all the time, and I'm going to talk about a little bit about shock, and then I'm going to give you a presentation about our very few of our projects. Since we've been working so long together, there's a lot of stuff that we've been doing, but I will show you four of our projects that go perfectly under this topic. As we know, there is a lot of different shocks. There is a shock as an acute stress reaction. You know, you go through an accident or your family member dies, you're in a shock. There's also a shock as a way of treating people with electricity, you know, electrical shocks, you know, that's what we used to treat people with sometimes, with mental diseases or mental illness. Then there's also cultural shock. You know, you come from another place and you go to another place, and then you realize that, you know, this place is totally different than what I used to. This is nothing like I know nothing about. How are they doing their things? Like if you're coming from America and you come to Finland, you might be in a cultural shock because people are so quiet. And then there is shock art, which is actually a genre of its own, which means that basically artists are using provocative and vulgar materials like blood, and there's a lot of violence and all kinds of shit in the art, and that's why people are really shocked when they see it, because it's so gross. They are grossed out about it. Then there is also shock for the sake of shock, like, you know, just trying to get attention, you know, just, you know, there is not very much anything else behind there, but just getting attention. The yellow papers work like this. They actually work like this. It's like, it's a shock. You know, there's no another reason for it, but just getting attention. And then there is shock as a value. Shock as a value, and then we're talking about the work that we are working with. Shock as a value as also getting attention, but by attention opening up the world that is behind the shock. So, shock value is the potential of an action as public execution. This means that, of course, then there needs to be something that the public will see, and it's done, that the shocking thing, the activity is done in public. It can be image or text or other form of communication to provoke or reaction of disgust, shock, anger, fear, or similar negative emotions. This is like the definition of the shock, what it really is. We are shocking for a cause. We want to create social impact. Like I said here earlier, is that when we are shocking people with our images or with our texts or with our performances, there's always a cause of wanting to change how people think or perceive things. And that's what we call a social impact. And it's actually, most of the time what we are working with norms and taboos and misjustice. And by shocking people, like prevailing things, like opening up, look at this, we are prevailing those norms and taboos and misjustice. And of course we know that there's norms that are really good, but we are always tackling with restrictive norms. Norms that, you know, hold us back from doing the things that we really want to do. Or norms that we feel that we really need to conform into this group and we need to do these things to be accepted. And even though we didn't really want to do it. So our work is about prevailing those norms and those taboos and misjustices. And I will now showcase you a couple of our works where actually I have chosen a couple of works about how we are prevailing norms and how we are prevailing taboos, and also one about misjustice. This is one of our early projects that was the hairy underwear. And we actually created a collection of underwear that the hair was printed on. Johannes was wearing a shirt this morning and we took a picture. It was too short for him, so it was hair and then the belly. And this all started off as a statement for the Brazilian waxing. As a feminists, we were pretty like tired of the social norm that was created around the pubic hair. Like why we should be all the time like so worried about our pussy hair. Why is it such a big deal, you know? And also like, because we were thinking that of course people are allowed to do what they want to do, but still, is it really such a big deal? Like even, okay, we're doing all this with our faces and our hair, and now it's getting into our intimate parts that we really need to, you know, look the same down there, which is impossible. And so we created a collection of underwear where we had the hair printed on there. We're still selling them. Every once in a while we go to different design fairs and markets and we sell this. And I must say that 1 out of 10 people come to the table and really they're, oh wow, this is cool, because the other 9 is walking past like this, oh my God. Like that's disgusting. Why would you put hair on the underpants? And then we're like, you know, look at it. It's only ink on the fabric. It's nothing, you know. It's not even dirty. It's very clean, and it's really only an idea of a hair down there, and still people are really shocked. So what we are actually doing there, we're working with the norm of looking the same down there, and we're prevailing that norm that was created. I don't know, maybe now it was 2009, so it's around 7-8 years ago when the Brazilian waxing came with the boat from Brazil, you know, and took over Finland. Another project of ours is the hate couture. This is actually like started off from the hairy underwear, and we started to think about, well, there is actually a lot of other things too that we as women think that we should look the same, or that there's things that we don't like in our bodies. And the reason why we don't like these things in our bodies is because the social norms, the society, the community, or the social environment is telling us that we should look certain way, and if we don't fit that norm of looking a certain way, we start to feel bad about ourselves. So then we created a collection of unique, handicrafted, there's only one piece here, the Saki Tits scarf. We created a collection of clothes, unique clothes, where we had different kinds of things that we really feel like we don't like in our bodies. And like I said, it's not that we wouldn't like to like them. It's more that we are living in a social environment where we are forced to dislike ourselves. So we had the saggy tits scarf, we had the fat ass pants, we had the really fat t-shirt, it makes you look extremely fat. We had a collar that was the, I don't know, is it double neck or how do you call it? You know, you start to have chin, double chin stuff under there. We had wrinkly underneath eyeglasses. We had an acne mask, all kinds of that stuff. I don't even remember anymore. But this is going to be exhibited next time in Berlin in February, in the fashion weeks of Berlin. But anyway, this was something that, like most of our works, it's inspired by the notions or the remarks that we make out of our own lives. Like becoming a mother was a huge change in our bodies. And we're like, you know, I used to like my body, now I don't like my body. Why is it that I don't like my body? My tits are saggy, you know? And then you start to think, why saggy tits are bad? Why they can't be cool? What's wrong with saggy tits? They should be awesome, really. We should embrace our saggy tits. So then we started to work on that, and the solution is here, or the ending is here. Then one of our latest projects is actually Prevailing Taboos, but also a lot about everything else too. It's called the Monokini 2.0, where we designed together with 10 Finnish fashion designers bathing suits for women who are single-breasted because of breast cancer and mastectomy. And it all started about 3 years ago when we got an email from a woman from Norway who knew what kind of works we've been doing with the head couture and the hairy underwear and our performances that always deal with the ideal beauty or female identity or female sexuality. And she said that because I know that you do this kind of stuff, and I have this problem that I cannot find any suitable bathing suits from stores because I have one breast. I'm fine with my one breast, but it seems like the environment is not fine with it, you know, because they don't offer me any suitable bathing suits. And it seems like when I go to the open air pool, people have a problem with me being single-breasted. I don't have a problem with it. And then she also said that at the moment, 3 years ago in Norway, there was a public conversation about women should get to be able to go to a reconstruction operation as fast as possible after the mastectomy, because no woman can feel beautiful, complete, and sexy with only one breast. She was pissed off. She was like, this is not true. I feel great about myself. Why should I feel like I cannot be complete? Why is the media feeding me with this crap? Because I don't think that is true. And she told us this, and we were really excited about the whole problem. Of course, it's a problem, but we were inspired by this. This is actually like shows what is a taboo and what is also a norm. Because she was talking about like she cannot go to the open air pool because the environment has a problem with seeing her scar and seeing her being only one breasted. And then we created a concept where we collaborated with Finnish fashion designers and women who have history with breast cancer and mastectomy modeled for us. And there was 10 women, and in total we had 10 different bathing suits and 10 women modeling for us. And in the end we had a world touring photographic exhibition. And what we found out during the process was that we were thinking that we start a statement project, that our project, as most of our projects, this is going to be a statement project. We're going to make a statement that is not cool, that women need to feel like we need to go to the reconstruction operation because the environment or the social environment has a problem with me being single-breasted. That's not cool. But when we worked with the women, we realized that we're actually also working with empowerment. These women who came into the studio were really, really empowered after the one day that they've been working with us. They came to the studio. Of course, they were really, really nervous. If you think that any one of you should model as a bathing suit model, even though you have 2 breasts and you're young and you know you have all things cool, like what we think that is nice, and then you need to be modeling in front of camera like half naked. That's pretty exciting. So they were really nervous when they came to the studio because then some of them had only 3 or 4 months when the mastectomy had been done, and then some of them didn't have any hair because of the treatments. And then they walk into the studio and they're supposed to take their clothes off and take their wig off and be there all I own myself in front of the camera. But what happened is that they really started to own themselves in front of the camera. The best feedback that we got is that when a woman walked out of the studio, she took her wig that she was wearing when she came in the morning, she took her wig from the table, put it in her bag and said like, you know, I don't need this anymore, I'm going home. So what happened during those photo shooting sessions is that these women started to feel great about themselves because they were feeling that, you know, the environment that they are in, because of course we are pedagogues and we have a lot of experience of working with people, so we made them feel comfortable about themselves. But also exposing themselves to the public like that made them feel like I don't have anything to hide anymore. You know, this is how I am and I am fine with this. I hope that you are too. Well, Monokini 2.0 certainly also touched a taboo, and that's why we actually got so much media coverage internationally. We've been featured in all kinds of media outlets in every continent of the world. We've been in the Times of India, Huffington Post, and in the Al Jazeera of Qatar. And the reason why I think, my analysis is that seeing a scar and a woman who doesn't have two breasts is still a taboo, which is crazy to me. To me, it's because I feel that, okay, well, this can't be a taboo anymore, but it really is. And the thing that we couldn't expect was that the feedback that we got, it was also about, you know, why, like, okay, we don't want to see these women who have only one breast, but it was more about that we don't want to see the scar, really. Why do you need to expose the scar, you know? I don't like to see the scar. And I think that also like showed us that there is another taboo in this project too, which is death. Like in our culture, in the Western culture, death is such a taboo. You know, we actually it's totally hospitalized, institutionalized. Like we don't see death around us anymore because our grandparents and the old people are put in the institutions and they die there. So death is not around us, but actually these pictures, they also prevail the idea of death. Like death is really close to us in every second of our lives. And some of us have it more closer than the other one. Like these women were pretty close to death. And Maiju Heikkinen is not my friend. It's Johannes. It's Johannes. This is Johannes. Johannes' laptop. And then cherry on the top. I was talking that I will showcase you a project that is about misjustice. That we were prevailing misjustice. This is the poop delight. We were decorating dog shit on the streets of Helsinki. As young mothers in the year 2008, we were really tired of having dog shit around the streets every springtime because our children were small, and when you come from the daycare, they like to run around. They do not certainly walk in the center line of the street. They always go here and then they go there, and you all the time need to be like, hey, don't go there. Be careful of the dog shit. And they were like, what could we do about this misjustice of dog shit? And then we're like, yeah, you know, let's start to decorate this shit. Let's start to underline the dog shit, that there is a lot of dog shit in our city, if you didn't notice. And then for a couple of days, we were walking around the city decorating dog shit with whipped cream and cherries and all kinds of cake decoration. Mommy, what are you doing? What did you do today in the work? I decorated dog shit. That's what I did. But what happened with this project too is that this also got a lot of media attention. I think that people were shocked about seeing these pictures because there's two elements that do not fit together. It's the shit and something to eat. And that creates shock. You're like, oh my gosh, what is that? Of course, it also makes you laugh, but it's a certain small shock in there. What's happening here? This doesn't really mix and match. And I think that also poo is a taboo in our culture. So we were also misjustice. Haha, I'm making a joke here. This is really not a misjustice of dog poo. But we were really also prevailing a taboo where we're dealing with shit. You know, we're really like doing stuff with shit. And that's disgusting to people. If you think about the definition of shock, which was like to provoke disgust, I think that this was also one of those things. Thank you. Have a shockingly great day.